All of us, me, you, the person you look up to, your favorite celebrity, are lugging around some kind of weight. And no, I'm not talking about a weighted vest. I'm talking about the ones many of us aren't physically aware of, and that is the weight of past experiences that have created perceptions about how we see the world, our life, or ourselves that we haven't moved on from. Perhaps it's a decision we regret, an opportunity we missed out on, a relationship that deteriorated, a traumatizing event that scarred us. For some of us, that weight overwhelms us in the present moment so much to cause anxiety, stress, unhappiness, or all of the above. But here's the rub. This weight doesn't have to be a disadvantage. In fact, it can be the bedrock that strengthens you. In this video, I'm going to share some things I've only shared with people closest to me, because I want anyone watching this who feels a prisoner to their past to turn pain into power. And if my story can help even one of you, it's a wrap. My mission here is done. So let me hop into this. So story time. I'm 8 years old. It's Super Bowl Sunday, watching it with my dad. Everything is love. And then that Thursday, he's gone. And I'm not talking about a trip. He had an aneurysm out of nowhere. So 5 years later, my mom enrolled me to a college preparatory boarding school in Wheeling, West Virginia. I'm 13 years old, still very impressionable, still emotionally ignorant. And in that state, you internalize, or at least I internalized, the decision in a negative way. For me, at that time, I felt like dad is gone, mom is too busy, I'm no longer around my friends, and I'm being sent off. That's the perspective that I carried with me into Wheeling. And then I get there. I had enrolled late, so they didn't have like a proper room for me. All of the structured rooms had already been given out, but they had a room that was a closet previously, and that was my room. And I'm talking about like, where I could put my hands out to like both sides and touch essentially the other side of the walls. So I'm talking like there were brooms in that room before the boy got there. You know what I mean? Like that's where I was staying. You could probably guess how I'm feeling. I don't know a single individual at this school. And of course it's kind of like, why is this happening to me? And I think the most interesting and fascinating part about it is that, when you go through all this, when I went through this, I didn't really have anyone to talk to about it. So like, yeah, I made friends, but if you've ever been around a gang of 13-year-olds away from their parents, like you're not really gonna get a support group out of them. You know what I'm saying? But when you go to school, something happens at school, or something happens even just outside of school, regular dorm life, whatever it may be, vast majority of individuals I know who experience schooling in their impressionable years, you experience something, you go home, mother, father, caretaker, whatever it may be, will come through and, try to make you feel good, or, give you a different vibe about the situation, or take you out to make you feel better, what have you, whatever it may be. That's not the case. When I was at boarding school, something happened and I figured out a way to deal with it. I became very comfortable, and had to, as a result of this, becoming comfortable very early with interpreting life and situations through Ian's lens. That, however, turned out to be the thing that I believe has shaped me the most as a man to date in my life. From business to relationships, personal experiences, to my inner growth as a human being, everything. This experience made me extremely comfortable with being alone, extremely comfortable with being independent, and extremely comfortable and adept at being an independent thinker. I share this just to illuminate that the most challenging moment in my life may have just been one of my greatest experiences. And that can be the same for you if you allow it to be. And this is masterfully alluded to here by my girl, Mel Robbins.
I feel all the but I don't like to stay there. And this is not toxic positivity. It is important when you're disappointed to allow yourself to feel disappointed. It is important when you lose something to give yourself the grace to grieve for as long as you need to. It is important to have a good cry, to have a good scream, it's important to feel the highs and the lows. You're meant to feel it all. But you can shorten the length of time you stay down. And what always helps me, I say to myself, I refuse to believe that if I'm a good person and that if I'm working hard, I refuse to believe that this doesn't work out. I refuse to believe that I'm not going to be okay. Like, I know that this moment's going to pass, and I know that I will look back on this moment 5 years from now, and I'll see exactly what I was meant to learn.
And I love this piece by her for a number of different reasons. First off, let yourself feel those emotions. That's okay. Do not suppress it, but use it. Let it out. But at some point in time, there must be a, for lack of better words, come to Jesus moment where you don't allow it to bring you to a place that doesn't serve you. You can take those emotions and that experience and take it to where you want it to go mentally, because you have a choice. You have that power. Take it back. And 2, this is the biggest execution takeaway. Find a way to change the story you're telling yourself about the situation, and know this moment is here to show you something. You may not get the exact answer in the moment as to what it is that you're being shown or being taught or supposed to take a look at, but I will tell you, if you can find some angle to tell yourself that allows you to shift the story that you're telling yourself currently, to even make you feel a fraction of a percent better in the moment, that will pay dividends in the long run, even if in the present moment that thought still seems resistant because you don't understand why it's here. See, the dichotomy of life is very interesting. On the opposite of pain is pleasure. And the aftermath of something can become an event that may be labeled as one of your greatest if you use it and flow through the moment to the best of your ability. For me, being sent to boarding school after I lost my father was one I slowly became internally grateful for. My mother's decision had a lot of layers. She was a single mother, working over 12 to 15 hours a day, and she wanted a male influence around me and to be in my life, and not to be stuck with babysitters, which is, due to how much she worked, and she had sacrificed her whole entire career to be in the position she was. I had this conversation with my mom later on in life, but, I could see how difficult of a decision it was to relinquish your child and the aspect of raising that specific child and that relinquishment of control over something like that, especially when it comes to her son. That was a experience for me and my mother that I can tell you, I became, I've always been very close to my mom since my father passed away, but that was one that I became notably more closer to, because I can see that sacrifice that she made, where she put herself to the side out of love for me and for my brother. And that's love. And it's when I, shifted my personal perception of that experience and all the takeaways of that experience and the personal wins I have as a man as a result. And I didn't think, I was abandoned or expecting the worst every moment due to my father passing. And this is why I have this channel, is because I want to make it abundantly clear to those who may not be aware that all of these things that we carry, all of our perceptions and beliefs of the world, have an impact on us, internally and externally. And taking a deep dive internally can literally change your life. Just take 1 second to digest this.
And then start practicing feeling gratitude. Teach your body, just for 15 minutes a day, what it would like to feel gratitude, what it would be like. And our data shows that you take someone to do that for 4 days, 3 times a day. They make a immunoglobulin called immunoglobulin A. It's your body's natural flu shot. It's the greatest immune chemical we have. 50% increase in the subjects we studied in 4 days. Where is that chemistry coming from? They're not taking anything. It's coming from within them, right?
No supplements, no injections,
Nothing.
no topicals.
No. Just their bodies, their
Just
autonomic nervous system is manufacturing a pharmacy of chemicals that's causing an immunity to the body.
Wow.
Yeah, we're talking a mere 15 minutes a day of gratitude, physically altering your chemistry. Now imagine if you're able to embody states of gratitude more often than not. Stay within this spectrum, stay at least here, and shift your perception of your current situations and relinquishing, or at least striving to become aware of, some of those things that you may be lugging around from past and even present experiences. See, it doesn't just impact how you may respond to something in the present moment externally. It physically can shift how your body operates from a chemical perspective internally, which ultimately shows up in how you operate externally. And just know, I haven't completely mastered this, nor does it require mastering to see magnificent changes in your life. This is an ongoing game of continuing to push yourself every day. And you can start with very subtle things. For example, Just a few days ago, I'm cruising down I-4 here in Florida, on the way to a gym to try and get in a quick session before I have 4 back-to-back meetings, all of them extremely important, one of them a big deal with regards to a negotiation that's going to go through. And my car blows up right there on the spot. And no, not like in the movies with a giant ball of fire. Nah, not like that. But the engine dies out of me in the middle of I-4. Cars zooming past me everywhere. The only thing I could do is essentially brake, like can't accelerate, whole car, dash is like, basically Ian, get off the side of the road. That's like what popped up on the dash, like, bro, you gotta move. Now here I am, stuck at the bottom of an interstate exit with cars beeping because I literally can't move in the rain, and me calling the tow truck and them telling me essentially that they can't get there for an hour and a half. Trust and believe. I started to feel a little bit of that spectrum coming back this way. But I understand that mindset and that state is not going to serve me. So I was like, yo, E, hold up. I have a car that can even break down in the first place. Some people are taking the bus. Some people can't even afford the bus. Like what my worst case scenario right now is I shift my meetings and get a rental and I have the resources to be able to pay for the rental. Nah, bro, count your W's. When you start to feel that, it can shift you a little bit more towards going back to this. And when you do these small frame shift exercises like this, you're going to be able to get into a mindset and state of being that allows you to be able to see and receive opportunity that this world presents to you. Because when you're in a state of anger or negativity or anything that brings you off of your optimal self, you miss out on a lot. And you don't even recognize you're missing out on it because your perception of reality is in a place of negativity. Everything that we want in this world comes out of a state of abundance, love, and gratitude. But the physical things we want that aren't just given to us, they don't just show themselves first. We must first become what we want up here before what we want shows itself out here. Much love.